Hey, good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Happy Wednesday.
Welcome back to Coffee with the Klines.
We're
here. You got a bro cup.
We're growing it out today.
You have a bro cup too?
Bro cups.
Do we have these on Ecom?
I have no idea.
Who wants a bro mug?
We made these for Father's Day.
We're excited to be here with you guys today, this morning. If you're commenting here on Instagram, go ahead and ask us any questions that you have. We'll kind of have a topic that we'll discuss today, and then we can come back to the feed and see if there's any questions. Morgan, we are going to talk about today Good Leaders Ask Great Questions, a book that I'm reading right now. And Morgan, I know that you are a great leader who also believes in asking great questions. And, you know, everybody has an opportunity to be a leader.
That's right.
Why don't you talk about that? Like we have, yeah, go ahead.
I think sometimes people get the word leader confused with some sort of title that you have, or that you have to lead a team at work, or you have to reach a certain status. So to me, a leader, everybody has the opportunity to be a leader, and being a leader of your own life first. So if you think of all the ways you can be a leader, you can be a leader in your life individually, to your children, in your home, whether that's with your spouse or whatnot. You can be a leader in your friendship groups. You can be a leader at work without having some sort of title, or without having being a people leader, right? You can be a people leader when you have teams, but you can still be a leader every single day when you walk into the office around your peers, and in the job that you're in, you lead that job, you lead that part of the organization. So if you have some sort of limiting belief that you are not a leader because you don't have a certain title, or you don't have certain responsibilities, you're wrong, okay? Everybody can be a leader of their life, and a leader for the people around them. So
I think on the other side of that, you also could potentially be wrong if you consider yourself a leader, but you try to change the world before you keep your car clean.
That's a good point. So maybe you are a people leader. Maybe you do have a certain status and title, and so you're considered a leader in society's eyes, but are you truly leading? And I think that's where this book comes in, and it asks 10 good questions that leaders ask. Like Devan mentioned, I'm a big believer in constantly challenging yourself and challenging the people around you to think differently, to seek other perspectives, to challenge themselves. I think I might have repeated that, but you do that through asking good questions. Yeah. Okay. So for me, when I walk into a room and I'm going to have someone present something to me, I am the one that sits back and, listens and observes, and then writes my questions down. And then that's kind of the approach that I take into leading other people through meetings, is just starting to challenge them, ask good questions, and doing it in a productive and approachable way, where I'm not just telling them that they're wrong. I'm getting them to seek their own indiscrepancies.
Yeah, it's like you don't want to save them from the mistake that they're going to make that's going to cause the pain. That pain is the lesson is baked into that pain somewhere, and you have to experience that pain if you want to be able to get better and get on the other side of it. And so John C. Maxwell, by the way, is one of the world's thought leaders on leadership in general. He has a bunch of books. Morgan had referenced a couple of things from his book called 5 Levels of Leadership, where he does talk about that, the first level being position, and the last level, level 5, being the pinnacle, in which you are actually creating other pinnacle level 5 leaders. And it just really got some good literature. And so as Morgan and I are continuing to build this Burn Bootcamp community and continue to reach you all on, and the way that we're shaping our life, our future, our leadership style, we want to share those things with you. So what we kind of do is we take the input from the world, because there's nothing new under the sun, and we're not that smart. So we need to make sure that all of the amazingly intelligent, capable, smart people before us, all of the literature that they've written down, the books they've wrote or written, that we consume those, and that we stand on the shoulders of that, right? And it's to move society forward, it's stand on the shoulders of John C. Maxwell, all the things that he's doing, and then, maybe we can try to find some gaps in a way to take that narrative to the next level. But we wanted to give you 10 questions from his book that great leaders ask to build their teams. Question number 1, and they're all questions short, punchy. You're going to see the theme here as we go through them. The question number 1, Morgan, is what do you think? Mm-hmm. That's a key question. That's my favorite one. Number 1.
This all the time.
All the time. And I'll give John C. Maxwell credit, but far before I read this book, that was my favorite question because it's just a natural one, right? It's like you said it. You don't want to solve. You want people that are closest to the problem or the issue to make the decision about how to solve that problem or issue. And
well, that's how you extend trust to people because, of course, as the owners of Burn Boot Camp and, CEO and formerly COO, right? Everyone's looking at us in the room to say, what's the decision? And you will constantly be the only decision maker in your circle if you don't ask that question of, well, what do you think?
And probably get it wrong too, a lot of times.
What do you mean?
Like if you make the decisions, you're probably going to get it wrong a lot of times too.
Yeah. Well,
let somebody else make it that's closer to the problem.
Exactly. So, yep. What do you think is a
what do you
good
think?
one?
Morgan, this is one of your favorite questions. How can I serve you?
Yeah, I think it's a question that you need to be asking the people that directly do report to you and anyone around you is, hey, give me feedback. How can I serve you better? What do you need from me? Do you have all the tools and the resources that you need to do your job well? So that's a big question that you want to make sure you're always getting the answers to. And if not, then you're not likely fulfilling the people's needs around you that you're leading.
What do you need that I'm not giving you is another one. Or what tools and resources do you need that you don't have? That's like different renditions of number 2. How can I serve you? Number 3, what do I need to communicate? So this one is really important because when you're having a conversation with somebody and you banter back and forth for, let's say 5, maybe 10 minutes, and you walk away from that conversation, how many conversations do you walk away from where you spent 10 minutes and there was no actual outcome, right? So what do I need to communicate is kind of that punchline at the end of a conversation. Maybe it's impromptu with somebody. It's like, hey, what do I need to communicate and who do I need to communicate it with to make this conversation productive? And that's a problem, right? A lot of people just end their conversations and they don't have any. That's like wasted time, wasted meetings. People hate wasting time in meetings, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, what do I need to communicate? What do we call that at Burn More to educate everyone?
Feedback?
Cascading messages.
Oh.
What do I need to? So that's
got that one wrong.
No, like that's what it is, right? So at the end of all of our meetings, we have cascading messages.
I'm already thinking of the next question. That's why I said feedback loop.
Stay in the moment. Stay in the moment. Stay in the moment. What do we need to communicate is a cascading message. We call it cascading message, and then we say, hey, who has this cascading message? And then who do you need to communicate that with? So that question number 3 is baked into everything that we do here at Burn.
All right, number 4. Did we exceed expectations? This is one where I know myself I need to get better at, or organization can get better at, because we're moving so quickly, right? So the speed of the business is there. There's a lot going on. But making sure that you're taking time to reflect back on, did we exceed expectations? Did we hit the mark? Did we do what we said we were going to do? Did we do it well? And so when I talked about the feedback loop, it's like you're constantly kind of reflecting on anything that you're doing, and did you meet the expectations? And if you didn't, okay, let's have a debrief. How did we not meet expectations? What are we going to do different next time? What processes do we need to put in place? And so it's constantly just looking back to make sure that you have met the expectations of the job.
Number 5, what did you learn? Now I love this one because there's an inherent accountability baked into this question, what did you learn? So we ask our kids this question at the end of every day, what did you learn? This is one of the questions we use to lead our family. What did you learn? Because I want them to be conditioned that there is always something to learn. And if I don't ask them what they learn, they're assuming that there isn't anything else to learn. They don't seek that experience. They don't go seek the experiences that can teach them things. But I love what John C. Maxwell says. He says, but experience itself isn't the best teacher. It's the evaluated experience. Yeah. So it's like, I had this experience now. I went to school, let's say, for the day. Okay, let's evaluate this experience that we had, kids. What did we learn at school? And oftentimes, because they're younger and maturing minds, we'll have to point them down into okay, when you got done with recess and then you came inside and you went to STEM class, what did you learn there? Sometimes when I ask them what they learn, you can see their little brains kind of processing everything that they did for the day, and they can't quite pinpoint something that they learned. And so you try to ask that pointed question, what did you learn? It keeps people accountable to know that they'll need to learn something, because dad's going to ask them and they're going to need to come home with something that they learned. Morgan, number 6. Did we add value?
I mean, I think this really goes back to a lot of what I just said about did we meet expectations too, is asking yourself, did we add value? Did we execute the way that we needed to? I think about this a lot in our organization as a franchise organization, because we're serving, we're serving business owners. And so are we always adding value? We ask that question after every camp. Did somebody do more today than they never thought that they could do, right? Or didn't expect to do? And that is how you're going to continue to grow and retain your business, is if you continue to add value to people's lives. If you're not adding value to their life, then they're either going to not give you their money, right? They're going to go find somewhere else that adds value. And that's in a business, from like retaining employees to retaining members in your gym business.
That was one of the first principles I almost ever can remember learning from Tony Robbins. Do you remember the years when I would just I'd be watching like a Tony Robbins video like 4 hours a day.
Oh yeah, we love Tony.
Yeah,
I think we've heard everything.
Yeah, we definitely have.
Gone to like 5 of his events.
Yeah, for sure. And the thing that he taught Morgan and I, and millions of other people, is adding value is the singular goal. Making money's not the goal. Growing a business isn't the goal. Getting amount of members isn't a goal. Getting a revenue isn't a goal. Did we add value? Did we exceed the expectations of those who we are serving? And where can we add more value? How can we get to the point where we know what you're going to value in the future before you even know it, and we can help you speed your life up and progress to success more quickly by introducing that value to you earlier than you thought you needed it. And so that has levels to it, but it's always a great question to ask. Did we add value? Because I know if you're a successful person, the goal of every conversation, even in the micro, just a one-on-one conversation, you can use this question to ask yourself, did I add value to that conversation? Was that a productive conversation? Was I trying to argue? Was I trying to win? Was I making judgments instead of observations? Did I add value to them? Or did I subtract value? Because it's either one or the other. And so it's so hard. And so you can easily screw this up, right? You can easily screw it up by just not focusing through the lens of adding value to every conversation you have. Okay, number 7, Mork. How do we maximize this experience? How do we maximize this experience? What's that question asking? It's like, what is that question asking? How do we take what we're already doing? How do we show up to the gym and then not just think that's good enough just to show up? Although that's a win, and that's a positive, that's momentum. You're there. Have you examined, do I have more to give today? Can I maximize this experience given I'm already here?
I mean, I think it's like having that mindset that you want to be the best, right? You want to be the best option out there, whether that's the best restaurant, the best gym, the best company to work for, the best product, the best supplements. You want to continue to challenge yourself of, are we doing absolutely everything we can to be the best? And it's a mindset, but you got to ask yourself that question.
Sometimes we can get into the mode where showing up at first was a win. Just like walking at the beginning of your fitness journey is a win. Just getting out and doing something. I love it. Okay, but at some point, you're going to have to progress. There's no such thing as steady state or staying the same. You're either growing or dying. So,
I mean, if you think of our evolution in the gym, it's changed so much. Not so much, but think of the scrappy days, right? We've gone to a parking lot, to brick and mortar, to having different equipment in our gym, to adding a burn ambassador at the front desk. We didn't used to have those. To refining what that blue carpet experience looks like for every single member, every single day, every single camp, to refining our protocols. And so it's just constant evolution of your business to make sure that you're maximizing the opportunity that you have. But it doesn't start that way. I mean, because maximization is going to look different in the beginning of your business. Like I just said, parking lot days, that experience is way different than it is now, right? There's similarities, of course. It's, what makes us different, but completely different experience. But at that time, we maximized what we could with the resources that we had. So if you're in business for, a period of time, you can't always do what you've always done. You need to continue to evolve to make sure that with the new resources that have been added or the way that life has evolved, are you now still maximizing?
I love that. As you're talking about it, one thing, maybe this is like a 7A question. I heard there's a gentleman who is a historic pioneer in marketing. His name is Jay Abraham. And he asks this really interesting question. It's almost like a derivative of number 7. How do we maximize this experience? It says, what is the highest and best use of my time? Right? So kind of the same theme that's going to change over time, but it's more of a personal insight. Like, what is the highest and best use of my time? If you were to meditate on that question, allow yourself enough time to get clarity on that. It's really pretty intense at what comes back. It's like, hey, only I can do this. This is the highest and best use of my time. No one else can do it. Let's go to number 8.
Yeah.
What do I need to know? What do I need to know? I like this one. This is great. What do I need to know? Okay, because I want clarity. My team, they want clarity. Clarity can be, you can not achieve clarity only through one way: miscommunication. So what do I need to know? I'm not saying what would be nice to know. I'm saying, what do I need to know? And that is a very pointed question that allows somebody who is on my team to say, hey, it gives them an opportunity to show you how good they are too. Like, what do I need to know? You're basically saying, hey, I need your help telling me what I need to know because you know more than I do.
Yeah.
And it's allowing them to put that, it's allowing them to showcase what they know. And then in turn, it adds value to me because, hey, I'm busy and I want clarity and I want to clear through the clutter, and you tell me what I need to know. Great.
Yep. Cuts through right to the point.
That's
right?
Uh-huh.
All right, number 9. How do we make the most out of this opportunity?
What do you think about this one? It's kind of the same question, really, as how do we maximize this experience?
That's what I think too. I mean, I don't want to repeat myself here, but I think it's just really sitting in a moment and constantly having the mindset of, how do we take all of these resources at hand and make the most of it, add the most value to the people, create the best experience. And, I think what's maybe unique about this one, number 9, is also there's going to be good and bad opportunities that come your way. And so I think the distinction here is even in the bad things, how do we make the most out of this opportunity, right? We asked ourselves this question March 2020,
right,
or 2020. How do we make the most out of this opportunity or this situation? And what did we do, right? We created our live stream, our on-demand programs. We, met our members where we were. We built community. Even in difficult times, how do you still make the most out of these opportunities? So I think it's a good question to constantly keep on your radar because not everything's going to be hunky-dory. And so you need to always be making sure that you find the good and the opportunity in everything that's coming on.
Hunky-dory, that's a funny word.
I know, you like when people use weird...
The old school grammar terms. So this reminded me of, as you were talking, it reminded me of something that you said to me earlier last year.
Yeah.
Late last year, rather. And you said, hey, Devan, this is kind of like the whole, this number 9 is don't chase the shiny objects type thing. For me, you said, hey, you don't need to focus on any new opportunities. What we need is a recommitment to the opportunities that we already have in front of us.
Yeah.
And that was profound for me because it's as an entrepreneur mind and as a lateral thinker, I have all these ideas. And I've been disciplined over the years to really put 95% of my ideas and energy into or 95% of energy into 1% of the ideas. But still that 5% can creep up here and there. And it's you reminded me just, hey, you don't need another opportunity to feel like an entrepreneur, to feel fulfilled. You just need to you need to dig deeper into the verticals that we already have, and you need to figure out you're really good at problem solving. So like go down all the way to the bottom anywhere that you can and be that person that helps me find the problems by recommitting yourself to examining the opportunity that's already in front of you. So
Yeah.
I think that's kind of the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Last question. If anyone is inside in our inner circle, okay, in our franchise system, in our inner circle, then you know that we love our numbers and they love us back. And so the last question John C. Maxwell asks in this book, Good Leaders Ask Great Questions, is how are the numbers? Mm-hmm. How are the numbers?
And if you don't know your numbers, then here's your reminder to know them. Because if you don't know your numbers in your business, then
or your house,
or your budget,
or your kid's GPA, or your like any numbers. Know your numbers. Know your life's numbers.
Yep, it's one component, right? But it's an important component, and we both love our numbers. And sometimes you just need to go back to the numbers when you have to make decisions as a leader too, because there can be a lot of emotions in something, or there can be a lot of objective information. You just want to get to the numbers, but you need to know them, so you have that fail safe.
Oh, he has another one. 11 bonus time. What am I missing?
I like that one.
I picked this book up at the airport and impromptu and I just started reading it. And when I came across what am I missing, I've actually now thinking about it, I've used that question at least 4 or 5 times. And it's helpful. It lets people showcase what they know.
Yeah.
And gives them real ownership of it. And people feel proud to tell you what you're missing, because that means that they know something that you don't know.
Yeah.
And that's empowering to them.
Very good. All right. That's our 11.
That's 11. We didn't do 11.
So once again, this came from Good Leaders Ask Great Questions by John C. Maxwell. So we hope you guys have enjoyed hearing a little bit about the questions we ask ourselves, we ask our team, and how we continue to develop ourselves as leaders.
We're on the leadership game right now. So we're putting together an awesome workshop for our team here at HQ, and then going to use that as the seed to take out a road show into our regional trainings and really start to teach leadership as a whole. Morgan and I are educators as much as we are operators of our business, and part of our job is to operate the company, and part of our job is to educate you and our teams on the ground and our franchise partners. And we really take that role of being that educator seriously, because we think that especially leadership is a very scarce resource. And we've just seen firsthand how Burn Boot Camp, especially, and its culture and philosophy and environment and energy, really the entire frequency that our organization on is creating leaders. It's taking members who become either child watch or front of the house burn ambassadors or trainers, or they become franchise partners, and then into multi-unit franchise partners, and then they start building big teams and having multiple layers. And it's just an amazing endeavor to intake and to embark on, because it's so needed. Leadership is so needed. So be the leader in your inner circle and pay these things forward, just like we're paying it forward for John C. Maxwell. That's how we all get better together. That's how we eventually create that paradigm shift in our society where leadership is no longer a problem. And it clearly is.
All right,
Love
guys.
questions.
Thank you for joining us.
All right.
We'll see you next week. 2 claps on 2. 1, 2.